So to create a Maven project, what you have to do first is you need to create, go to file, you have to go to new, and either you will find an option here called as create Maven project. If not, then you have to go to other, and here you need to search for Maven, right? By the way, Maven is actually a separate library or tool which has to be installed separately. But if you do it, if you're only using Eclipse, so Eclipse gets embedded with Maven. So if you're just downloading, installing Eclipse, Maven might still work for you. But if it doesn't work for you, then you have to let me know. Then you have to manually install the Maven on a system, right? From where you will do that, I'll maybe show you some links as well. So you have to go to Maven, apache.org, and from here you can actually download it. And there are steps to download as well as install. So it's not something like next installed. It doesn't work that way. There is some installation. There is no installation mechanism for this, but there is a configuration mechanism. It's a standalone file. It doesn't get installed, but you have to configure it to make it work on your system. For that, we have few steps to do, but I will tell you those steps later. And you will only do it if it doesn't work for you. Otherwise, later we anyway have to do that, but we'll do that later. Just in case if it doesn't work, you have to let me know that it's not working for you. So what you have to do is simply just keep it simple, Maven project. Once you select this, you get some options here. One is create a simple project, skip archetype selection. So you have to always skip the archetype selection if you want to create a new project. Okay. What is archetype? We're going to talk about this later. Don't worry too much about this. Just select the skip archetype option. Then you click on next. Then it will ask you some more fields. Don't have to worry about all of these. You only have to fill two. One is the group ID and second is the artifact ID. So in the group ID, I'm going to put com.visionIT. Artifact ID, I'm going to say my first Maven project in my case. Now, what are these? Group ID points out or kind of indicate the organization or sub-organization level details. Okay. So for example, I'm working for Vision IT and you're also working a lot of getting trained in Vision IT. So you're going to reverse the email ID or web address for that. So for example, visionITtechnologies.com is the email ID, web address. So you're going to reverse that. You're going to say com.visionIT. There's a logic behind why we do this kind of nomenclature. This is just a nomenclature. No one will ask you to kind of write com.visionIT. You can even do this, but again, that is a bad way to do. So it's always good to use proper nomenclature, and that's what I'm trying to do here. com.visionIT, and I can also write .automation. That means I am belonging to a specific sub organization within Vision IT, and the address for me is automation.visionit.com. So I have reversed it in my package structure. There's a story behind of why we used to do this kind of system, kind of nomenclature. That's something for later. But yeah, this is how you should be giving the name. And if you go to a company, let's say you go to a company called as TCS, and you go to a project called as, let's say, RBWM. So you're going to give it a name as com.tcs.rbwm. Okay. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to simply say Vision IT. Now in the artifact ID, this is actually the name of the project. So here, if you see name of the project is Batch9 calculator, here the name of the project is my project. So here in this case, whatever the name of the project you want to give, you can give that name here. So I can say here my first Maven project, or you can say, let's say auto test framework. You can give such kind of standard names as well. Right, whatever name you wish to give, but as I said, I'm going to keep it my first project. Okay, and then rest leave. You don't have to specify anything else. These are jar, pom, var. You don't have to worry about. Just keep packaging as jar, and that's it. No parent project here, etc. So you just click on finish. So the moment you click on finish, it will create a project for you. So here in my case, it has created my first project. It was supposed to be my first Maven project. I didn't give that name, but you see a proper structure being presented here. Now, if you are doing it for the first time, it won't happen immediately for you. It will take some time. Something, you will get some message here that I'm downloading Maven or something of that sort. And you have to wait until this kind of structure is displayed on your machines as well. Okay. If there is a problem with your Maven, then it will not look like this. It will something look like this. Only these things would be displayed. This will not be displayed. Then you can simply understand that your Maven with Eclipse is not working. And when that happens, you take a screenshot, post on the group, and I'll try to solve it for you. Okay. So this is what you're going to see in the beginning. Then you will have two sections here. First is main, second is test. Now Maven wants you to keep your code well structured. And the first level of structuring it will ask you to do is between main and test. So what Maven says, that the same project can be used for development code as well as test code. But there has to be segregation between them. So your development code should be placed inside main, and the code which you are writing to test the development code should be placed inside the test. Something like you want to automate, something like you are working on an Amazon project. So you're going to place the Amazon development code inside source main Java, and you are going to keep the test code which you're writing to automate the UI as well as API or whatever it is, or maybe even the JUnits or unit tests. All of that should be part of source test Java. If you are not doing that, then the Maven structure will still work, but it will be again a huge violation of Maven structuring, and you could land up in many issues. So it's not advisable to bypass this. Sometimes people keep their test code in the main Java, which is entirely wrong thing to do, right? So if you're doing that in your existing project, stop doing it. You have to make use of source test Java, as simple as that. Second thing, there is another subfolder, another folder structuring, which is resources. So inside main, so we have a source. Inside source, we have two folders, main and test. And inside main and test, both of them, you will have two more folders called as Java and resources. Now Java here indicates that the files which you're going to put here are all Java files. There are no text files or Excel files or feature files or anything. It has to be a Java file. In the resources, you keep text files, Excel file, feature files, configuration file, property file, anything which is not Java file. Okay. Same holds true with here. Sometimes people also make this mistake that inside that source test Java, they keep the text files or non-Java files. Again, a wrong thing to do, right? So if you're doing that, don't do it. Next thing to explain here in the structuring is where there is a very important file called as pom.xml file. This file holds the information about how to build the project. Okay. This information is kept inside pom.xml. This is also called as configuration file for Maven and for your project. So every project, no matter how many projects you want to create, every project will have this pom.xml file with it. It's a must for any Maven project. You have to keep it. Otherwise, it will not be called as Maven project. Nothing will get executed, nothing will get built. This file contains the default information about the project, which is what is its group ID, what is its artifact ID, and what is the current version of the software. Okay. Now, if you don't understand what this is actually an XML file. This is XML syntax, wherein these are called as tags and these are called as its attributes. I am assuming everyone aware of it. If not, then you have to let me know in the group. I can take some few small brief sessions on it, as well as I can tell you the resources where you can read more about it. It's not really very complicated to understand what this is. These are tags. These are its values. Okay. Now, if you want to change the behavior of this Maven project, you can actually modify this pom.xml file. But we are really not going to go in that direction for now, right? because right now we have to focus more on the Java side of things, not on the Maven side of things, because Maven can really really do many awesome things. But we cannot learn everything in a single day, can we? Right? We cannot. So we will not focus too much on these things. Only thing to remember is, if you want to make any changes in the Maven's behavior for your project, this is the place you're going to look at. So if you want some external libraries, then you're going to use the dependencies area for this. Dependencies, you're going to add something here. If you want something to be built or something, some plugin to be called, you're going to call them inside build and plugins, and then plugin or something, right? So it follows these kind of structuring, but as I said, you really don't have to worry about this for now. And trust me, the next time we are going to use it, we are going to add a lot of dependencies and these things here. Because if you want to use JUnit, you're going to have an entry here. If you want to use Selenium, you're going to make an entry here. Dependencies. You want to execute Selenium test case, you're going to make an entry in the plugin section. So from building till execution as well as deployment, this is where you're going to make changes, right? But we will not, as I said, we will not touch it as of now. We'll keep it simple and sweet, and because we don't need it. What we needed for as of now is to have this kind of structure, which we already got. So we'll not touch it again. This pom.xml file, just leave it alone. Don't bother it. Now, next thing you want to do is, as I said, you will need Java main code to be present here and test code to be present here. And right now, what we are creating here in the form of calculator, can anyone tell me what this code is? What we are creating here, what is this? Anyone? Is it a test code, or is it a source main Java code? Where should I keep these files? Inside main folder or test folder?
So main folder.
Exactly, main folder. This is not a test code. We right now are actually creating the calculator application. So we are acting as a developer of the calculator. So these files which you see here, addition, my first class, operation, they all are part of Java main. Sorry, main Java, source main Java. So let me just copy these files from here and I'll place them inside here. So now I should actually have created a package here. So I'll go to new, create a package. I'll say calc package, finish, and I will move them here inside calc. So right now all of my this code is inside calc. Now there is one more important thing here. If you've noticed, this is, let me close this. This is part of my source code. That means this is my development code, because this performs addition. Operation, again, my source code, or my main or development part of my main development code. This is also the same. What about my first class? Now, if you see here, this is not supposed to be here. I can actually move them to my test code, right? Why? Because right now the thing which I'm doing, these things, no user is not actually doing it. It is me who is trying to test whether the application called as addition, the functionality called as addition, is actually working or not. Okay, so these lines which you see here is actually my test code. So I should be moving them inside my test folder. I should be moving them here. What I should be doing, I should be doing right click, new, and I should be doing a package. I will be writing tests, finish, and I will kind of move this class from here to here. So right now in my calc, I have only additions, operation, and sub. Inside my test code, I have this class called as my first class. Again, we're going to change name. We'll change its name. But as simple as that, this contains my test code, which we have. There's a main method like this, and I'm performing my addition, subtraction in this class. Okay. why I am kind of restructuring it, because this is what you're going to see when you go inside a company. So when you go into a company, you would kind of see two things. Either there will only be a one folder called as source test Java. There will not be any source main Java, right? Or there could be a project where you will have source main Java as well as source test Java. But you will always be focused on source test Java, because this is where you're going to write your test code. And that test code can be your API code, it can be your JUnit, it can be a TestNG, it can be Cucumber, it can be a Selenium test cases embedded using Cucumber. Whatever it is, it's all going to be inside source test Java. This is where we're going to keep everything. So we are not supposed to be using, if you're using Maven, you're really not supposed to be using this public static void main and all, because we are right now into the source test Java, and we should be using a proper framework. A framework, now I am coining the word framework, the proper framework or a test framework which will actually be used to execute my test cases. Right now, if you see here, this actually is my test case, right? In the test case name is validate addition functionality. Is my addition working fine? This actually is my another test case wherein I am saying my subtraction is working fine. So how about I would structure them into two methods. I'll write public void, or maybe before even I do that, I will just rename this file. I'll say, for example, you want to rename something, you have to go to refactor and rename. You write here test cases, finish, and here you will say create two methods. You will write public void run, test01 check addition, and then you're going to move this addition functionality from here to here. And this actually, in this example, we are checking the multiple arrays, multiple addition. So I will write here check multiple addition, or you can use either underscore, or you can also, if you don't want to do that, you can simply say test01 validation or check addition for multiple numbers. This is my first test case. My second test case can be test case number 2 for 2 numbers. So I will just move this part from here and I'll put it here. Then I can create my third test case. My third test case is test case number 3, check subtraction. And I will just move it here and I will place it here. And I will, now there is no need to keep my public static void main. So I have now my 3 test cases written or segregated across 3 different methods, and each method I am writing test case 1, test case 2, and test case 3. Now the challenge here is, now what will get executed if you want to execute it. If you want to say right click, run as, you will not get any option to run on server, is not a right option. You will not get run Java program. Why? Because if you want to run a program in Java, you really need to have a public static void main. Without having public static void main, you cannot execute anything, because these methods are just method definitions. They are not executable. You cannot execute them. If you want to execute them, you want to call it, right? Now, to answer this from test framework perspective, we have few frameworks available. Now, what are frameworks? Frameworks provide you ways to organize and structure the test cases, and it also gives you a mechanism to execute them, right? One of such basic framework in Java to execute your test cases are actually called as JUnit. Everyone, I think, must have heard about JUnit. JUnit is a framework. It's a very lightweight framework which is responsible, which you can use to execute your individual test cases. And actually you write your test cases in the form of methods. So each method represents a test case. Okay. To use it, you have to annotate the methods using test annotation. Now, when you write something on top of a method and you start the name as @, it becomes, or you can call them as annotation. Annotation just are nothing but a way to tag a test case. So you can also use it as a tagging mechanism. You want to tag a method. You want to tell the compiler of JUnit, you want to tell the compiler of Java and JUnit library that this method is a test case. If you want to tell the compiler, you want to annotate this using, or you want to tag it with a annotation called as test annotation @test. When you do that, it will ask you to add a library. So either you can use testng or you can use JUnit. Now, to add this JUnit library, there are again two ways. In Maven, you have to add a dependency, but we really are not looking into dependency today. So I'm just going to say, okay, add JUnit 4 library. I'm saying this, I'm using this very cautiously. I'm really telling you, you will not be using this mechanism, right? You will be using dependency here to add JUnit dependency, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm just telling you, you can do it this way as well. Once you do this, now JUnit would know that this is the test case which needs to be executed. But you also want to execute this one and you also want to execute this one, isn't it? So you're going to annotate them as well. So now you have two things, or rather two segments. One is, this is where your development code is written. This is where your test code is written. And you are going to focus more on the test code side. You're not going to focus more on the development side. In our case, however, we are also responsible for developing this, because we want to learn Java also, right? We can learn Java while only by using test cases, writing test cases. But in our case, because we want to learn a lot of things in Java, and good way to learn Java is that you develop a small application. So we are trying to develop a small application in Java called as calculator. So we are responsible for development as well as testing. So in our project, this is a small project in Java which we are doing. In our case, we are learning Java using writing the Java development code as well as the testing code. So we are developer cum tester. We are doing the role of both developer as a test and a tester. So moving forward, we are going to create more operations here. We are going to enhance this calculator. We'll make it a scientific calculator. And then we are going to write the test cases for it as well. Right? Kind of, it's not a TDD, test driven development or something, but yeah, you're doing both the things simultaneously right now. So I have actually added two operations in addition, and one operation is subtraction. So I'm just testing that whatever I have developed is working fine or not. And the way to do that is to write a test case. So I'm writing a test case here. Check addition, multiple number, check addition for two numbers, check subtraction. Any questions so far, guys? Anything which you didn't understand? I'm not going to extend it further. Just 5 more minutes. I'm not going to extend it. I'm just asking if you guys are confused about what I'm saying, or is it all making sense?
Will you please repeat JUnit?
Okay. Right. Thank you for highlighting that. So JUnit is a framework. Okay, it's a test framework. I need to use it because I don't want to use public static void main. So just imagine that I don't want to use JUnit 4. So let me just remove it for now. To remove any extra library from your project, you can actually go to to libraries, and you can click on JUnit 4 and you can say remove. So it will be removed. So now you don't see anything called a JUnit there. Let me just remove this as well. Let me remove the annotation. Let me remove the annotation. Let me remove the annotation. Okay, now I want to run my test cases. So how will I run it? Right? If I want to do a right click, run as nothing will happen with run on server. This is not a run option available. So if I want to run my test cases, I can do one thing or rather two things. The first thing is the traditional way, public static void main a string of array args. I will use this and I will call these methods basically. So I will write here execute this, then I'll say execute this, and then I will say execute this. Now to run this, I will have to make them as static as well. That's the error. So I will say static, make it static, static, and static. That means I have just added a keyword called as static in front of them, because in Java, if you're calling a method from a static method, those methods also have to be static, right? We'll talk about the static later, don't worry. So one way of running the test case is this. So if I want to run it now, run as, I will be able to run it. So if I do Java application run, my application runs. No worries here. No issues. It will work properly. But what I'm trying to argue is this is not a right way of running the test cases. These are your test cases. Test case number 1, test case number 2, test case number 3. You are writing these test cases to test the functionalities of the development code which is written here. In your case, you are acting as a developer as well as a tester, right? So I'm repeating this all again and again because I don't want to confuse you on why we are doing this and why we are doing this. Your primary responsibility when you go to a company will be this, test cases. You will not be writing the development code. But as a part of our training procedure, you are writing the development code as well. But we are training you for testing. So I am telling you the test code also, right? And you want to try the test code, you want to write the test code, this is how you're going to write the test cases in the form of methods. So classes, inside that you're going to create methods, and each method is actually nothing but your test case. And if you want to call the test case or want to execute these test cases to validate your functionality is working, you're going to call them like this. This is just a definition. This doesn't work in itself. You have to call them like this here. So now you can execute it, but this is not the right way to do. So my argument is there is an existing framework called as JUnit framework. Now that JUnit framework isn't nothing but a library. And if I associate that library with my current project, I will be able to use its functionalities. What are the functionalities of JUnit? It provides annotations, right? Annotations are nothing but a tag. What is a tag? Tag is simply, you can tag me as a trainer, and you guys are tagged with students. So this is nothing but a kind of identifier, right? I am a trainer, you are a student. So in our case, my name can be tagged with @trainer. You can be tagged with @student, right? So in my case, I am tagging this with as @test. Now this is an annotation. This is a Java concept. Annotation is a Java concept by which we tell the library or the compiler that this particular method belongs to a specific category. Okay. So this is @test annotation. And by doing this, I am telling the JUnit library or my project or compiler that this test case is a JUnit test case. Okay. So if I click on this bulb, I get these two options, JUnit 4 library to the build path. I cannot use a functionality of a library without adding the library to the build path. Build path is nothing but addition of that or referencing that particular library to my project. Now I'm using some fancy word here, like referencing, association. They are very simple. I mean, I want to bring that library to, I want to make that library become a part of my project. Okay. So to do that, I will just do add to the build path, add JUnit 4 library to the build path. This is not a right way to do in a Maven project. This is what I was talking about earlier. This, you don't have to necessarily click on this. All you have to do is to go into the pom.xml file, which is here, and add a dependency. As I said, I don't want to complicate things further. So I'm just telling you a simple way of adding the JUnit library to your project. That is, click on the bulb and click on add JUnit 4 library to the build path. Once you do that, you will automatically see something being added here. This was not here before. The moment I said add to build path, this appeared. That means now my project is equipped with all the functionalities of a new library called a JUnit 4. And inside this, we have a jar file. Jar file, we have a lot of packages and their class files, right? So now I will have to annotate all the class, all the methods using annotation. So did you get it now? Who asked the question? I didn't get the name.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Bhushan. Okay. All right. So @test and now @test. So now I really don't have any need to have this thing here. I can just comment it out. For commenting, use * at the beginning and end of the statements. It will comment the code. So for commenting, I'll just comment it. Now, if I want to run it, I will go here. I will go to run, and I will get another entry called a JUnit test. So run it as a JUnit test. If I do this, it will actually execute. I think there is some mistake. Should not be static. Oh, okay. So I will have to remove these statics now because JUnit doesn't execute static methods. So if I do execute, remove them now because I added them because I was making call from a static method, but I don't have to do it now. So I can simply run them like this. Run as JUnit test. And now it has executed. Now it is telling me that it has executed these 3 methods and all are passed. And it is printing the value here in console. If I want to run it again, I can just simply say run it again. It will run it again. Okay, now telling me 3 executions, all those things. So it comes with a lot of other functionalities as well, which we are going to talk about in later days. But first, we are going to focus on JUnit side of things. We are going to enhance this, and we are going to keep on adding our test cases here. This is going to be our activity in coming days. At least for 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, we are going to learn a lot of Java code by writing development, as well as simultaneously we'll also write the test cases. So we'll do both the activities simultaneously. And once we jump onto the Selenium, then we will only work on the test cases side of things. We are going to automate the application, which is actually for which the development code is already ready and it is deployed onto the server like internet. For example, if we automate Amazon.in, it's already there. You don't have to bother about the development code of that. All you're going to focus on the Selenium side of code, which you're going to write in the test folder of the Maven. Okay. Any questions, guys? I have come to the end of today's session. So if there are any questions, this is the time you should be asking that. Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm going to stop the recording.